I've met and befriended 19 different millionaires as a teenage entrepreneur, and in this video, I'm gonna show you my simple process to reach out to people way richer than me, network and make friends with them, and learn the secrets that made them millionaires that I've used to generate over $100,000 with my own business. Plus, I'll talk to 3 of my millionaire friends to get their insights on how to network with people like them. Now, before I even started to reach out to millionaires, I first understood the power dynamics between them and me. See, even if I had a huge ego, I realized that statistically only 0.75% of people could call themselves millionaires. Millionaires usually hang out with other millionaires, and unfortunately, I wasn't a part of that 0.75%. So I had to humble myself and realize that unless I stuck out, I'd just get grouped in with the 99.25% of people that they don't hang out with and just get ignored. See, millionaires get thousands of messages per day from everywhere. Everybody wants to be their friend, and millionaires usually keep their circles small because most people are a waste of their time because they want free help or free money. And obviously, both of those things are a huge waste of time for millionaires. Their time is super valuable to them, and although social media might have convinced you that all millionaires do is work, grinding until 3 a.m. every single night and not sleeping, time spent having fun with their family, or just doing anything that isn't work is time they can't get back. And to prove it to you, let's hear from a millionaire himself.
I'd say my time's worth a lot, not only when I'm working, but when I'm not working, being able to decompress and spending your time being focused, but also doing stuff that you really enjoy.
So instead of doing what everybody else was trying to do to meet millionaires, which doesn't work, here's what I did instead. And by the way, I don't care if you steal this and do it yourself. Step 1 was to get good at something to be able to offer value to millionaires later. For me, this was coding games, editing videos, and blowing up YouTube channels. And these were things that took years for me to develop and benefited me in so many other ways. For you, this can be starting a business, learning a new skill, writing a book. I don't care, it just has to be something. This just ensured that when I eventually got into contact with millionaires, I wouldn't be wasting their time because I'd be able to offer them some sort of value and not just take or ask like everybody else. Otherwise, I knew I'd just get ignored like everybody else. Step 2 was to actually find millionaires in the first place to then have the capability to message them. At this point in my life, I was like 15 or 16 years old, so there was no way I could travel and go meet these millionaires in person. And to be honest, I'm 18 now, but still can't really travel until the summer because I have school, which sucks a little bit, but I can be patient. So to get into contact with millionaires, I use 3 different strategies that I'll share with you right now. The first was DMing them through social media, but before I could do that, I needed to figure out which social media platforms that millionaires would frequent.
I think there's 2 kinds of millionaires. There's the millionaires who are very open, having some sort of public persona. And those millionaires, I would say by and large, are on Twitter and Instagram. Like that's kind of the 2 locations. We got connected through Twitter. And I have a lot of really success, billionaire friends who have 200 followers on Twitter, super small. And no one knows them. They write something every 6 months. And man, if you were to comment or reply to one of their tweets or DM them, they're gonna see it. Whereas if you're trying to DM Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful or something, he's never gonna see it. His team's gonna filter it out. So yeah, so I really like Twitter. And then I was just hanging out with a guy the other day. It's probably worth 200 million. Public Instagram, 300 followers. Just follow him. It's so easy. But you've just got to start. If you want to get in touch with these people, you have to look for the people that don't have millions of followers, because they're getting overwhelmed.
Through my personal experience, I found that LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram were 3 of their main primary platforms. You have to understand that less than 15% of millionaires are under the age of 50, which means that they're not hanging around on platforms for kids like Snapchat and TikTok. But let's start with LinkedIn. LinkedIn has its upsides and its downsides. On the upside, there's lots of CEOs and super important people, including millionaires, on the platform, but at the same time, it can feel really corporate and plastic. A lot of people just use it to try to market themselves to you, which again is kind of sleazy. It almost feels like a used car dealership if you've ever been to one. But regardless, it's possible to make connections with people who have connections to millionaires, or even better, directly connect to millionaires. But this only works if you have a profile that looks good and professional. When I first made a LinkedIn, I threw up a decent looking picture of myself, filled out work experience and skills, and finally spam connected people that I knew from the YouTube and video game development spaces, as well as students and teachers at my school. Eventually, Eventually, I got to 500 connections, which is where LinkedIn shows 500 plus connections on your profile, which puts you on a very similar bar to other people, let's say 10,000 connections, because you can never see the exact number past 500, which is really good social proof and makes me look super professional. It shows that I have value to give and won't just waste the time of millionaires. From there, I just started connecting with people that looked like they were important. For example, if they had CEO in their bio or founder, co-founder, etc. And I was able to shoot them the perfect message to get a response, which I'll talk about later. Now, besides LinkedIn, Twitter is another platform that I've used to connect with millionaires via social media. And yeah, Twitter is, Twitter, but there are also a ton of high profile people on Twitter, and it's also not that hard to grow if you just stay consistent. Now, I'm not a Twitter expert, but I started super small and was able to grow my account to nearly 5,000 followers in the span of like 6 months. To do this, I started by beefing up my profile to look nice. This involved me paying for verification to instantly boost my reach and look more professional. Then I just interacted with a ton of posts to get others exposed to me, which meant that I was liking and replying to their posts. And then I also posted my own free value so people would check me out, engage with my profile, and follow. Building up Twitter followers and having a nice looking profile is again really good social proof and shows that I have value to give. Imagine if I were to reach out to a millionaire having 5,000 followers in a super professional looking profile versus if I had like 100 and a really shitty profile. Keep in mind that it's not the end of the world if you don't have a big Twitter account if you do everything else right, but it definitely helps. Finally, Instagram is the last platform that I primarily use to reach out to millionaires via social media. And honestly, it's really similar to Twitter in the sense that having a good profile and a lot of followers means good social proof. At a glance, a millionaire who views your profile should know who you are, what you do, and that you mean business. Your story highlights, posts, and bio should all be on point. Moving on from social media, the second strategy I used to reach out was through email. And to be honest, I use this one way less than reaching out via social media or the third strategy that I'll share with you, simply because most millionaires' personal email addresses are not just floating around on the internet. And most millionaires have an assistant reading their emails anyway. So to get their personal emails, you'd usually have to get referred over to them by a friend or mutual connection, which leads me on to strategy 3, utilizing referrals. Besides social media outreach, having friends who have friends has been one of the primary ways I've met millionaires. I make it a point to connect with as many impactful people as I can, whether or not they're in my industry and whether or not they're millionaires. This is because simply you never know where these connections might lead. I've connected with basically every YouTube strategist in the space, e-commerce experts, game developers, restaurant owners, models, and people in literally any industry you can think of. Because again, you just never know who these people might be friends with. For a concrete example, let's hear from Paul Hilse.
So I actually met Nate through a guy named Lyndon, and I met Lyndon through another guy named Joel Kaplan, and I actually met him online. So it's kind of like a chain effect of one person meeting another and another. You kind of have this exponential effect in terms of your network. And so it really starts with maybe one or two people that are, up there, and that one or two people are really going to be the people that connect you to hundreds, if not thousands of people, and kind of level your status as well, and also help you learn a lot more.
With all of these outreach strategies considered, I use a mix of these to give myself as many avenues as possible to meet millionaires. But this is only the beginning, because after getting their contacts, I still need to message them in a way that I won't get ignored, because trust me, it's very easy to get ignored. See, millionaires know how to make money, which is exactly why everybody wants to talk to them. However, there are also things that millionaires don't know how to do that they want to know how to do. A lot of times that's growing a YouTube channel, finding a good video editor, building a good YouTube team, making good thumbnails, and so on. And because I've spent years learning how to grow on YouTube and becoming somebody with a ton of value to offer, I'm able to lead with that. Instead of just asking for free help, I give them value in a place they lack without expecting anything in return. Usually this means that I message them with free advice and then offer to hop on a call later that week, or just send them a document with some notes to give them even more help for free. Just like I would for a friend, because that's exactly how I look at it. And this has worked super well for me. I've been able to meet quite a few millionaires this way and build long-lasting connections and relationships. If you're looking to do this yourself, you're really just going to want to offer value in a place, again, that they lack, and not try to school them on something that they're way smarter than you at. For example, you're not going to want to give them any business advice, tell them how to sell things better, or just anything in that realm, because they're a millionaire. They obviously know what they're doing and are probably smarter than you in that field. And if you don't have expertise in a particular area that most millionaires lack, then you can always give them a platform. Millionaires like to yap, so creating a YouTube channel, podcast, or some other way for them to talk is a great idea. Whatever you end up doing, make it as easy as possible for them to engage. If you want them on your podcast, pay for the studio time, book around their schedule, and don't waste time. If you're hopping on a call with them, offer to send the calendar invite to save them 60 seconds. I promise you, the little things matter. Just remember the power dynamics I talked about. At the end of the day, just be chill, don't expect anything in return, and just go in looking to make a friend. Try not to view it as transactional. And if you have any questions or want to network with me, then hit up my Instagram at nate.curtis with 2 S's.